think it's really interesting about how, like, I feel like there's certain objects in our life that, like, we don't pick, like, it just chooses us kind of thing, where, like, it's either given to us at, like, a certain time that we remember, or it's just always been there, and you're like, this holds a lot of meaning, and I don't really know why sometimes. But I really do think that these bears hold meaning to me because it reminds me of our little versions of ourselves that lives inside us all the time, you know? It's just, they've been there for everything, you know? Like, I've had that bear, I'll be 24 on Saturday, and so she's also turning 24. And so I think it's interesting to think about, I don't know, I just love that bear, and I just hold such a special place in my heart for being through everything I went through when I was a kid, and all the fun times and sad times, and she just reminds me of that, and that's why I like to hold on to her.
What is your most cherished possession? Like, if your house is burning down, you can only grab one thing of yours, what would you do?
I would grab my vintage Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated blanket.
I bought like a recipe book that has a lot of family recipes in it.
My baby blanket.
My acoustic guitar.
I would probably grab my one of them. Okay.
My childhood stuffed animal.
I have this binder back home that I kept from high school. I did madrigals and choir, and so all of my sheet music is in this one massive binder.
I would say my camera.
My friend made me this little medallion.
It's this little stuffed, like, Katamari plush.
I would probably grab my computer.
I love piano. I've been playing piano since I was 5, so I would say that. It's really huge, but I really cherish it, so I'll take that with me.
I make chapbooks. I don't know, they're these photo books.
Honestly, I would probably grab my hard drive because it's got a lot of memories from the past few years, and it's got a lot of my pictures that I've taken and a lot of just projects I've worked on and things I care about on there. So
I don't know how to like put it into words, but it
just brings me comfort, even though it's like kind of embarrassing. It just like, it makes me feel good.
It's just like a really cute thing that we have together.
It's very special to me.
I don't know, it's just like comfort for me. And it's like, I like to think it's like always been there for me per se. You know what I mean? Like it's always something like I can have and I can hold when I need to.
I feel like it's a way for me to like connect with my friends a lot.
Put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into writing music on it. And so for me, that's probably a loss I would feel if I left that behind.
So that's a super important thing for us to hold on to.
Did you like play the games when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, like I said, my buddy Matt Lampa, he introduced it to me. We've been friends since kindergarten, or not even kindergarten, preschool. He introduced me to Pokemon when I was, I would say, 7.
Ooh, double chancey. Do you think he pulled anything good?
Let's see. I'll go off my favorite card I ever have owned, and it's based off my favorite Pokemon ever, and that's my Feraligatr card from Neo Genesis. I don't know the value of this PSA 10 graded, and honestly, I don't care about the value of that, because this was my first ever Pokemon that I ever picked as a kid. And that's the cool thing with all these cards, is there's always a story behind a card. Like, I guarantee you, I could pull a random one out of here and tell a story based off of it. This is a Full Art Hisuian Samurott V, and I pulled this card when Cephalo and Sagalis were back in town from college, and we all wanted to buy cards just for the fun of it, you know. And then we were all like, oh, we can't pull some, we can't. And I pulled this one, the first pack, and we're all like, holy crap, this is awesome, you know? This was my favorite card, my PSA graded card is my Shiny Greninja. The reason why I like it so much is not only is it one of my favorite Pokemon, it's the story of how I got it. It was 2022, and I was looking at so many listings trying to find this card, but it was like 75, 100, 250. And then I finally found one for 50 bucks. Bidding was starting at 50, and I was like, screw it, I'm going on it. So I bet 55, and then it kept going up, up, up. The bidding ended at like 250. I didn't get it. So I was like, darn it, I didn't get it. Until the guy messaged me on eBay a week later, and he goes, hey, the guy didn't pay me. Do you want this? And I go, yeah, I do, but I don't want to spend $250 on this. He goes, well, what's your asking price? And I go, should do 75? And he goes, and I go, all right, how about, 100? And then he goes, why do you want this card? And I was honest. I go, look, I'm just a senior in high school. I'm a huge nerd, and I just like Pokemon. I've liked it since I was a kid, and I just want to have this for my collection. And then he goes, okay. He goes, 25. And I go, 25 bucks? He goes, 25 bucks. And I go, yes. So there's always a memory to it, you know? I could show these to someone 20 years from now and tell that exact story I just told you about that Samurott or that Rayquaza. So I think it's like a little time capsule too, just looking at it.
They think it was a heart attack because my grandma went to go wake him up one morning and he wasn't moving. My mom told me that when the EMTs came, he was like holding, like his arms were stuck like this. So they don't know if he was like struggling. My mom doesn't know if it was necessarily a peaceful death or like a painful death. She doesn't really want to know because that's a horrible thing to like even think about, that like your loved ones are in pain when they're dying. It was really sudden. My grandpa, his name was Henry Skibbins, but everyone called him Hank. He worked as a draftsman, so he did a bunch of drawing. He taught me how to draw, like a lot of things. He's the reason I really love art. But he was really funny. He loved to tell people jokes. He would write down his jokes on index cards and he'd carry them around and tell people. He was in a barbershop quartet, so my grandma has a bunch of CDs of him singing. So she'll listen to them sometimes, but she really doesn't anymore because it makes her too sad. Whenever we would go on vacation, we would go vacationing in this small town in Indiana, and they had this candy emporium. He's like, the first $1 is always on me. So he'd buy $1 of our candy, but like there's like the 5-cent Tootsie Rolls there. So it was super cheap. We were able to get so much candy for so cheap. He was really fun. He was a great guy. We all got our own chances to go through his room. There's a quilt on the bed that I really wanted. It's like super, super like patriotic looking. It's a giant American flag. It's all red, white, and blue. There's a ton of stars on it. And I think it's kind of funny because I'm not the most patriotic person in the world, but it sat on his bed for the entire time that like he was alive. I remember seeing it in his room all the time whenever we'd be like, we want to look at your coin collection, or we want to see your model ships. And his quilt was always on the bed. I think that the quilt being so patriotic and me being so like not very at all patriotic, I think I'm able to look past it simply because the quilt was his. Like I see it and I'm not seeing the American flag, I'm like seeing him. I like see him most vividly when I'm looking at the quilt or seeing pictures of the quilt, and I'm not really seeing the American flag because I wasn't looking at it when I was younger and being like, oh, that's the American flag. I was in his room being like, this is Grandpa's room. Like, this is all Grandpa's stuff. These are Grandpa's things. So the quilt is him. So it's not really like the American flag when I'm looking at it, like with the same disdain that I look at every other American flag. It's like him to me. I'm really hoping to get it fixed. I recently discovered, it was just this past summer, my youngest sibling had been sleeping with it, and there's a giant hole ripped in the front of it now. I was furious. I remember like yelling and like crying. My mom was like, oh my gosh. I think she texted a bunch of people like from quilt groups, from old places she knew. She's like, can we fix this? I think the answer was like, maybe. So in the future, I hope to see it fixed and then back again in my life.
So this is Giraffe. I've had him since I was 1 or 2. There's not really been anyone I've ever been closer to. As far back as I can remember, I remember just always having it there. Having it, whether it was in my bed or carrying it around the house or just kind of having it as a companion. For as long as I can remember, I would always bring it with me and then make sure he had a pillow and a blanket. As stupid as this sounds, but I mean, it's an emotional attachment, so I wanted to make sure that he was still comfortable, I guess, per se. I've never really asked anyone about it. I've always had the mentality of like, I'm gonna own it. This is my thing. This is something that I hold very dear to me. If someone else has a problem or thinks differently, then they can have their own thoughts. It's personal to me, and that's really all that matters to me. I never did actually have that thought of like, what do other people think about it? Honestly, I think I might actually call my parents up and say, hey, what do you think about this?
Hey, I'm at Robotics Club. What's up?
Do you have like 2 minutes to talk? Hey, you got a minute to talk?
Yeah, good.
What are your thoughts of me having Giraffe around?
Having Giraffe what?
Around, like just carrying him around, pulling him, like having him just with me wherever I sleep. Yeah.
Like, if you go to class, are you taking him?
No, I'm not taking him to class. No, I'm just saying like having him in the apartment or in the house.
It's like a whoopee. It's something that you're familiar with, so you got it with you. You do have it with you, right?
Yeah, he's actually sitting right next to me.
Yeah, that's good. No, I think it's sweet, and I'm happy that you're connected to him, and I think it gives you some, connection to home. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's something from, I guess, your childhood. I would guess everybody has one.
All right, thank you. I'll let you get back to robotics.
All right, love you.
All right, goodbye, love you. All right, goodbye, love you.
Love you too, buddy. Bye.
There was a certain time in my adolescence, whether could have been anywhere between like 8 and 14, which I know is a wide range, but there was just something going on in my life, whether it was not being able to make friends or having trouble with the current friends that I had at the time. But I would go to bed at night and I would have these reoccurring dreams of just being so little and so scared and sitting on the ground, almost as if it was like on a pitcher's mound, where I was the center of attention and everyone was around me just as dark creatures and they would encroach on me. But the one thing that I could remember about the dream was I was just clutching Giraffe as if it would keep me safe. There were other times where I couldn't find my place. It was more so like, it was not a struggle of who am I, but like, where am I going in life? And at that time, I didn't really know where I was or who I wanted to be. Maybe it's the fact that I don't want to grow up. maybe it's the fact that I'm scared of just becoming an adult and having to deal with all of those responsibilities. And I have come to terms with a lot of that. And I have come to terms with bills and taxes and all those average adult kind of loom overs. But there's something about holding onto the giraffe that it's like, at my heart, I still am a kid. I still am a child. I still have feelings. It still is something, a part of me that is, or that was, but still can be something that's a big part of who I am. It's also the fact that he's been there when in my darkest moments, just like my mom, my dad. It's not a dependency, but there is that sense of, kind of reminds me of my parents, still hold that big of a significance. Giraffe is the one thing that was always a constant, just like my parents, just like my siblings. Like it was always there.